Wonderful. Welcome to the MMA Monday here on the Funkin' Pod. It's Monday, time to talk about all things MMA, right? And, well, obviously we got to start with UFC Vegas 22, right? Because that just happened. And the main event was not as exciting as most of us who hopped onto the Kevin Holland Trail Place to Top bandwagon expected it to be. And it was not even disappointing. Well, it was disappointing, but it was like disappointing in a way it played out, right? In a way that Kevin Holland actually didn't seem to be bothered by it. Like, I mean, Derek, heads off to Derek Brunson for like having a game plan and just being like, you keep talking, I just hold you down and win. Can't be mad about that. It wasn't that exciting, but I mean, that's a game plan. And if you're a better wrestler, then you wrestle, right? So Derek Brunson beat Kevin Holland, right? Decision over 5 rounds. But the way Kevin Holland was like acting was just too much show. It was just, and he later on he said like, no, that's just being me. Well, then maybe change yourself, because. That was weird. He just kept talking, and during the rounds he talks to Khabib. That's funny if you're winning. That's not funny if you're losing. Maybe then you should listen to your coaches and change something. So see, I'm at a loss of words though. So I liked his performances right before, and he's funny and everything. That's cool. But if you cannot back it up, it doesn't make sense. And if you're getting your ass whooped, kinda at least being dominated, then maybe you gotta change something, and maybe you gotta be a bit more serious about it. And then later on he said like, I did never say I want to be the champion. I just want to have a good time, and that I had. Congratulations. I'm glad you had a good time. Probably see you around then here in the regional circuit sometime soon, having good times. It's just sad to see how, I mean, you've got to got some unique opportunities there. Like, I mean, you worked your way in there. Why throw it away, right? Everyone's been impressed so far. Like, hey, man, you really came around, and then just not taking it serious. Dana White said he thinks he had a mental breakdown, but Kevin Holland said, like, nah, it wasn't a mental breakdown. I'm just me being me. But yeah, something wasn't right with him, or maybe just something isn't right with him. I think Aljamain Sterling actually had a pretty smart tweet about it, saying he thinks Holland is in there and he's just happy being in there right now. He's happy making money, making lots of money with what he's doing, more than he expected probably. He's just happy providing for himself right now, doing what he loves to do. And that's about him. And he said you can't blame him for that. And that is true. So, I mean, if your goal is just like make some money and now it's going well and you're like, hey, cool, it's going well right now. Nice. But wouldn't you think that if it's going well at some point in time, you're like, wow, man, I'm really good at this. Maybe I should just focus even more, and then, I don't know, do something with it. Like, I mean, Kevin Holland's coach said on Rogan that he's the best athlete or smartest athlete or most talented ones or whatever that he ever trained. So do something with that. Your name on social media is Trailblaze to Top. You say you didn't say you want to be champion. Your nickname is Trailblaze to Top. So where are you trailblazing to? It was disappointing. That was disappointing. What else was disappointing or was sad to see for UFC Vegas 22 was the weigh-ins, right? I mean, you probably all saw that. And I have to check the name. I'm sorry. Julia Stolyarenko was like fainting on the scale or on the way to the scale, or like when she stepped on it and she was fainting. So then they obviously had to cancel it. She came out. She said, hey guys, I'm okay. Actually, it wasn't a big problem. The problem was I made weight too early. Like at around 5 a.m. I was on weight, so I didn't cut anymore. But I just had to keep the weight. I couldn't drink or anything until the weigh-ins at 9 or 9:30 or something. And that's why I felt so weak. I mean, I feel bad for her, obviously, but I mean, shouldn't you have this better under control with your nutritionist and whatnot? I'm not sure how that works, to be honest. I mean, if you can time the hours, actually. On the other hand, have better weight classes, UFC. That's always this annoying thing. Change something. But yeah, so she said she's okay though, which is good to hear. I hope that's right, and she's not just being forced to say that. But I hope it's okay, and I hope we see her here soon. We had a co-main event with Max Payne Griffin, and Payne he brought against Song Kenan, I think Kenan, right? And Song Kenan had some nice highlights himself before, but this was all Max Griffin, first round knockout. Yeah, that was just like bam, 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 and that's all he wrote. That was nice performance by Max Griffin. He was really happy later in the press conference, which was cool. By the way, the press conference, right? And that's why people don't like Derek Brunson. I mean, dude, do something, say something. I don't know. It's really hard to keep listening to him. He says some the right-ish things, but not in the right way. I think he's like, I'm just me being me. Yeah, that's cool, but I know, have some pep in there maybe. I don't know. But again, you don't want to fake it. Obviously, it's just not to his benefits, like the way he's presenting himself. And if he's himself, that's fine, right? It's just sad to see, because apparently he's got the skills. I mean, obviously he's got the skills, right? And he kind of called out Costa. They asked him like, hey, who you want to fight next? He's like, Costa, what's up? I want a top 5. Let's see. I want to see what he does against a top 5 now. I mean, he's been talking that he wants to fight top 5. He backed it up by like taking out those challengers. So give him a top 5 and see what he can do, right? What do you have to lose? What else did we have on the card? Montserrat Ruiz versus Cheyenne Boys. UD that started or was it seemed clear in between, but then it became closer actually. But yeah, not mad at the decision. And then we had Taito Iwasa, very hairy handsucker, first round TKO. Yeah, I mean, you never know where I still don't know where Taito Iwasa is, right? Where he stands like in the division. Like he couldn't hang with the big guys, with the real G's, but like everybody else he's taking out. And that seemed like pretty easy for him, to be honest. Like bam, 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 he goes down, he follows, and then that's it. Yeah. Oh, so overall, I mean, a few cool highlights, I think. Vegas 22. Just the main event had like the sour taste. So it was just like, man, so much trash talk and then not backing it up. It's just lame. What I found a bit annoying afterwards, was Izzy coming out and shitting on Holland. Why this bothers me is because Izzy just said the week before, like when he talked with Ariel on Ariel's show, he's like, see the difference between John Jones and myself and the difference in characters. Like after John fights or when John fights, I am not tweeting at him or I'm not going at him. But as soon as I fight or then I lost to Jan, he's just trying to shit on me. And now as soon as Holland loses, Izzy is shitting on Holland. I mean, I understand Holland went at Izzy before, but come on. I mean, if you talk about like your character, you're being like you're taking the high road and so on. That felt a bit weird. But okay, off to the next ones, right? Oh, and what's the next one? The next one is Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou, which will be interesting. And finally, UFC had a hype video for Stipe. It's always just hyping Ngannou, Francis here, Francis there. Finally, they had one video about Stipe, and it just feels like Rocky, right? Like Stipe, like hardworking in Cleveland, running through the snow, having like a sled behind him that he's pulling, and Ngannou is like in the Performance Institute and so on. But then they flip the switch and then they show like where Ngannou comes from, like from the sand mines in Cambodia and so on. You're like, so who actually is Rocky here? But it still feels like Rocky 3-ish, right? So Stipe being there. I mean, he's the champ now, but Stipe, the hard worker, versus then the guy who comes from this harsh surrounding, but now has like everything thrown at him, the PI and everything, and they try to make him the next big thing, just like Ivan Drago. So let's see if Rocky can pull it off. It's Rocky 3, right? Is it 4? No, I'm doubting myself. It's Rocky 4. It's Rocky 4. Rocky 3 is with Mr. T, right? Okay, it's Rocky 4. It feels like Rocky 4. Francis is Ivan Drago. Stipe is Rocky. Luckily, there's no Apollo Creed right now. Okay, so that's going to be interesting. I don't know who to pick. That's why I have an MMA podcast. The only MMA podcast not sponsored by Manscaped, by the way. And it stays like that. Manscaped. Yeah, so I'm guessing Stipe gets it done one more time. I mean, he's getting older. He's probably getting a bit slower. And Francis is definitely getting better. But I hope that Stipe just finds a way again to dig deep and find a way, use his IQ, maybe throws a few feints that Ngannou bites on and then takes him down or something. It would be cool to see. I am Team Stipe. Wouldn't be surprised if Francis takes it, obviously. But yeah, Stipe, let's go. The co-main is off. Ortega versus Volkanovski is off because Volkanovski tested positive for COVID. And Ortega came out with a video, I think yesterday or the day before, just wishing him all the best. Like, yeah, man, you didn't do anything wrong. Sucks. Let's hope to run it rather soon. Yeah, fair enough. Nice by him. I can't get over Ortega's look right now. He looks like the pretty nice boy, but also like a guy that would sell you drugs around the corner. Confused. But yeah, that's off. That sucks. Let's hope that Volkanovski gets well soon and then we can see this rather soon. What else did we have in the news? Stephen Thompson came out, all aggressive as always. By the way, Stephen Thompson, Wonderboy podcast with Sweet Tea is kind of funny. Check it out. They just started it last week, I believe. So the Stephen Thompson podcast. Definitely something to follow. Kind of funny that I recommend to follow another podcast because I have so many subscribers here. But Stephen Thompson podcast was kind of fun to listen to. So Stephen Thompson, he says he actually picks Masvidal to beat Usman. What were you smoking, Stephen? What were you smoking? Is it just hoping that Masvidal beats him because Masvidal said he would like to fight Thompson at some point, right? So yeah, I don't pick Masvidal to beat Usman, to be honest, unfortunately. And Stephen Thompson also responded to Colby Covington saying like, this old guy, whatever, is like, if I'm so old, just fight me. What do we have to lose, right? It still sucks that Stephen Thompson's just left out there, right? It's like, dude, he's like top 5, some cool finishes, great performances over in the past few fights. What are you doing? Why do you leave him out there so long? I want to see Wonderboy again. Wonderboy, I want to see him fighting. Speaking of what I want to see fighting and what I don't want to see fighting, we have a championship match. So Khabib officially retired, even though he said I retired 6 months ago, but now it's official. So Dana accepted it. And we have a championship fight for the lightweight title. And it's Charlie Olives, good choice, versus Michael Chandler. Bad choice. And I mean, I don't want to be one of those who's hating on Chandler because props to him for what he's done over his career and so on. And he's doing the right things, saying the right things. Apparently a good guy, but Dustin Poirier. I mean, I can only imagine this makes sense. That if the Dustin has the Conor thing lined up. But what leads me to believe that this might not be a done deal just yet is that way back after his win, right? He said like if he wouldn't get a title shot next, if they would give Chandler a title shot instead of him, he would just quit everything and would just start selling hot sauce like full time. And right after the announcement of the title fight between Chandler and Oliveira, Poirier posted on Instagram a picture of him with the hot sauce in the hand. So he's pissed. I'm guessing he's pissed, and deservedly so, rightfully so. Like, what the hell does he have to do to get what he earned? And usually I'm on this. Usually I'm actually, and I don't want to admit it, but very often I'm like a company man. And this kind of like, dude, you don't have to complain. You get lots of money. You can do what you want, blah, blah, blah. But in this case, I mean, Poirier does everything. Like, he beats everybody. Can he get a shot at a title again, maybe? So I would have loved to see Charlie Olives versus Dustin Poirier, obviously. I'm not super mad at Chandler. It's just, and not at Chandler as a person. It's just, we wanted to see Poirier, right? So now Chandler is just the ass who takes it away from him. Also, Chandler versus Gaethje would have been awesome. Gaethje came out, said like he got up to he thought he's preparing for a fight with Chandler, and then apparently that's not the case anymore. But whatever. So Gaethje also seems a bit pissed here. Let's see where this goes from here. Let's see if those guys come out and have something else to say about it. But yeah, that doesn't look that great in regards to how the UFC is treating their people. The fight itself should be fun though. I mean, Charlie Olives is on a run right now. I have to pick Olives. I also hope he deserves it by now. I'm not surprised if Chandler would take it. If Chandler does, if Olives falls for like Chandler's fake again, like the takedown threat and then just the overhand right, because that's the Chandler thing, right? Maybe Oliveira falls for it like in the heat of the moment. Wouldn't be that surprised. But otherwise, I think Charlie Olives takes that. All right. One last thing in regards to the UFC. This Hans Molenkamp thing, right? And yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it, because it sounds very like European, German, Austrian, something around here. Maybe it could be Dutch too or something, but something. It sounds like it's from Europe. So I would pronounce it Hans Molenkamp. But in America, you would say Han Molenkamp or something like this. So he's in the news again because after Cruz called him out last time, we covered this briefly. Now more stories emerge. Not more people coming out because no one really comes out about it, but more stories emerge. And Luke Thomas apparently reached out to lots of fighters, and no one had Molenkamp's back apparently. And now the former videographer, photographer, production guy from Monster Energy for Molenkamp came out, had a video. His name is Courtney something. Just search YouTube Courtney Molenkamp or Courtney Monster or something. You will find it. Even Brandon Sharp talked about it and actually said something nice. So this guy said he got hired by Molenkamp, by Monster, to take pictures and stuff of like the fighters and the like. But then eventually it turned more into like a private photographer, videographer for Molenkamp and his IG stuff, his social media content, and he would call him like, "Hey, I need you now, come out right now." And he did it for like 4 years, and he witnessed how he's treating like fighters and so on. And like, if you don't do what I want you to do, then I'm just cutting you from the team, and you don't get sponsored anymore. And so at one time he said like he was at some football game or whatever of his nephew. Molenkamp calls him like, "Come to LA right now." And he said, "Man, I can't. It's a Saturday. I'm with my nephew. It's the weekend. I can't." And Molenkamp said like, "You do what I tell you to do." And then he said like, "Man, I'm a grown ass man. No one can talk to me like this. Well, we're done." And so he quit. And then Molenkamp blacklisted him. And he told like other fighters, "If you ever work with this guy again, with this Courtney guy again, you lose your contract." So he basically blackballed him, not blackmailed, blackballed and blacklisted him in the MMA community. Asshole move. So Brandon actually said on Below the Belt, he's like, "If that's true, Courtney, reach out to me. I'm going to find a job for you. I'm going to work with you," which is cool by him. So, we hate a lot of Brandon Sharp here, but that's a cool move, of course. So if the story is true, Brandon Sharp also said he's going to stop fucking with Molenkamp. Like, he said to him, he's been cool, but that's also because he doesn't need any money from him. So he just wants to be friendly, I guess. So let's see where this goes. I obviously don't know Molenkamp. I've got to see him on social media because I follow John Wayne Parr, the Muay Thai legend who fights for one championship now, and he has like a few pictures up with Molenkamp. Like, now I obviously wonder, does he have those pictures up because he has to, or because he actually likes the guy and they're really cool? I don't know, and I don't want to put anything out there, so I just don't know. That's just the only time I ever saw Molenkamp was, I think, on pictures with John Wayne Parr and Chris Weidman in Australia. So that's the only time I saw things. Now I wonder maybe they staged this too. I don't know. Anyways, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there, what comes out of this, right? Monster said last week already they're going to investigate and going to check what if that's true. We have to wait and see. If those stories are true, though, then this guy's a real asshole and deserves what's coming at him. And yeah, then he should actually fight Dominic Cruz and everybody else he effed over in a charity fight. All right, almost there. Now it's not only UFC that happened over the weekend. We also had one championship events again happening this past Friday. Fists of Fury 3 from the Singapore Stadium again. And I'm only going to mention the two main events, the main event and the co-main event, because I'm not going to take away from all the other fighters, also good job and so on, but well, it's not been that high level, I'm sorry. So the co-main event saw Janet Todd, JT, for an atomweight Muay Thai. JT, the kickboxing champion in one championship. She dethroned Stam Fairtex like a year ago. Now she's trying to go after the Muay Thai belt again. She fought Alma Junico, and Alma Junico looked so way out of water here. That wasn't even funny. So, yeah, Janet Todd set her down real quick. It wasn't a KO, then it was a UD, but it was all JT from start to finish. Janet Todd, there was no question that she was the better fighter there. She was all loose at the end. So yeah, she has to fight Stamp again for the Muay Thai title, I believe, rather soon. And I think this time I would even pick Janet Todd to take it, because Stamp doesn't seem to be in there anymore right now. But like, must be like a mental thing. The main event was then the Kickboxing World Championship, lightweight Kickboxing World Championship, between the champion, the immortal Rachan Ersel from the Netherlands, or from Suriname, but hailing from the Netherlands, and Mustafa Haida from Italy. And the first round was close-ish, just because Haida was able to land a few shots, but Ersel already connecting a little. But in round 2 until the end, it was all Rachan Ersel, and he landed his, like, not even the jab, like just his straight right, just like always came through. Always, every time he threw the straight right, it just landed on Haida. And then round 2 onwards, he was just throwing his flying knees and stuff like this. Didn't connect flush, obviously, because it went for a decision. But yeah, it was all Ersel. Haida tried to hack a lot clinching, but in kickboxing, clinching isn't really allowed. So then they had to break a lot, especially in the last round when Ersel actually tried to go for the knockout, because he's like, I have this guy. But then after every combo, like Haida would just fall into Ersel and trying to clinch to force the ref to break up. But every time the ref broke it up, then Ersel would just come forward right away, and Haida was just trying to reset. So that was like a very dominant performance by Rachan Ersel. Congratulations. I don't know what's next for him. I mean, he already dispatched of Holzkin. That was also not that close. I mean, it was closer than this, but not that close. I know if Jermaine Park comes back and destroys Nicky Holzkin, maybe he gets a shot right away. Other than that, let's see what happens next for Rachan. The immortal Ersel. Also, Mustafa Haida, I think his nickname was Dynamite. It's a lame nickname. I mean, the Immortal isn't that much better, but it was a lame nickname. So find a better nickname and come back. There was one championship. The next one championship is not next week. The next one championship is the first week in April. So it's in 16 days. And it's going to be the first one championship on TNT. So congratulations, one championship. Fake it till you make it. So nice. You made it on TNT. Looking forward to seeing how this goes. Main event will be Mighty Mouse Johnson versus Moraes, I think. Adriano Moraes, I believe, for the championship. But more on this, of course, closer to the event. Then I will break down the card, because I think I know the fighters that fight here in Asia a little bit better than many others out there, because I've watched them ever since it started. So more on this then once we're coming closer to the event in like 2 weeks from now. All right, that's it for this week. Let me know your thoughts on this past week of MMA news, events, and the like. If you have a Hans Molenkamp story, shout out. If you're Monster Energy, don't sue me. If you're Red Bull, sponsor me. If you're Manscaped, fuck off. Take care, have fun, see you next time.